Minorca or Menorca is one of the Balearic Islands located in the Mediterranean Sea belonging to Spain. Its name derives from its size, contrasting it with nearby Majorca. Menorca has a population of approximately 94,383. It is located 39°47 to 48°00, 3°52 to 4°24. Its highest point, called El Toro or Monte Toro, is 358 meters above sea level. History: the island is known for its collection of megalithic stone monuments, navets, tiles and talayots, which speak of a very early prehistoric human activity. Some of the earliest culture on Menorca was influenced by other Mediterranean cultures, including the Greek Minoans of ancient Crete. For example, the use of inverted plastered timber columns at Knossos is thought to have influenced early peoples of Menorca in imitating this practice. The end of the Punic Wars saw an increase in piracy in the western Mediterranean. The Roman occupation of Hispania had meant a growth of maritime trade between the Iberian and Italian peninsulas. Pirates took advantage of the strategic location of the Balearic Islands to raid Roman commerce, using both Menorca and Majorca as bases. In reaction to this, the Romans invaded Menorca. By 121 BC both islands were fully under Roman control, later being incorporated into the province of Hispania Citerior. In 13 BC Roman Emperor Augustus reorganized the provincial system and the Balearic Islands became part of the Tarraconensis imperial province. The ancient town of Mago was transformed from a Carthaginian town to a Roman town. Jews of Menorca. The island had a Jewish population. The letter on the conversion of the Jews by a 5th century bishop named Severus tells of the forced conversion of the island's 540 Jewish men and women in AD 418. Several Jews, including Theodore, a rich representative Jew who stood high in the estimation of his coreligionists and of Christians alike, underwent baptism. The act of conversion brought about, within a previously peaceful coexisting community, the expulsion of the ruling Jewish elite into the bleak hinterlands, the burning of synagogues, and the gradual reinstatement of certain Jewish families after the forced acceptance of Christianity, allowing the survival of those Jewish families who had not already perished. Many Jews remained within the Jewish faith while outwardly professing Christian faith. Some of these Jews form part of the Xwika community. When Menorca became a British possession in 1713, they actively encouraged the immigration of foreign non-Catholics, which included Jews who were not accepted by the predominantly Christian inhabitants. When the Jewish community in Mayan requested the use of a room as a synagogue, their request was refused and they were denounced by the clergy. In 1781, when Louis Desbordes de Berton de Crillon, Duke de Mayen invaded Menorca, he ordered all Jews to leave in 4 days. At that time, the Jewish community consisted of about 500 people and they were transported from Menorca in 4 Spanish ships to the port of Marseille. Middle Ages, the Vandals easily conquered the island in the 5th century. The Byzantine Empire recovered it in 534. Following the Moorish conquest of peninsular Spain, Menorca was annexed to the Caliphate of Qarqub-Doba in 903 and given the Arabicized name of Məʻnɔrkə, with many Moors emigrating to the island. In 1231, after Christian forces reconquered Majorca, Menorca chose to become an independent Islamic state, albeit one tributary to King James I of Aragon. The island was ruled first by Abu Uthman Sa'o registered trademark D. Hakam al-Qurashi, and following his death by his son, Abu Umar ibn Sa'o registered trademark D. An Aragonese invasion, led by Alfonso III, came on January 17, 1287. Its anniversary is now celebrated as Menorca's National Day. Some of the Muslim inhabitants of the island were enslaved and sold in the slave markets of Ibiza, Valencia and Barcelona, while others became Christians. Until 1344 the island was part of the Kingdom of Majorca, a vassal state of the Crown of Aragon. Aragon subsequently annexed the kingdom and was then absorbed itself into the unified Spanish crown. During the 16th century, Turkish naval attacks destroyed Mayan, and the then capital, Ciutadella, before Turkish settlement took place on some of the island. In Mayan, Barbary pirates from North Africa took considerable booty and as many as 6,000 slaves. Various Spanish kings, including Philip III and Philip IV, styled themselves King of Minorca as a subsidiary title. 18th century. Invaded by Britain's Royal Navy in 1708 during the War of the Spanish Succession, Menorca temporarily became a British possession. Britain took possession in 1713 under the terms of the Article 11 of the Treaty of Utrecht. Under the governorship of General Richard Kane, this period saw the island's capital moved to Port Mahon, and a naval base established in that town's harbour. During the 7 Years' War, France captured the island after the siege of Fort St. Philip, following a failed British relief attempt. Thanks to the Treaty of Paris, the British returned to the island again following Britain's victory in the 7 Years' War. During the American War of Independence, the British were defeated for a second time, in this instance by a combination of French and Spanish forces, which regained the island after a long siege of St. Philip's Castle and Port Mahon on February 5, 1782. The British ceded the island back to Spain the next year in the Treaty of Versailles. Menorca was invaded by the British once again in 1798, during the French Revolutionary Wars, but it was finally and permanently repossessed by Spain by the terms of the Treaty of Amiens in 1802. The British influence can still be seen in local architecture with elements such as sash windows. As the rest of the Balearic Islands, Menorca was not occupied by the French during the Peninsular War, as it was successfully protected by the Royal Navy, this time allied to Spain. Modern era. During the Spanish Civil War, Menorca stayed loyal to the Republican Spanish government, while the rest of the Balearic Islands supported the nationalists. It did not see combat, except for aerial bombing by the Italians of Corpo Truppe Voluntary Air Force. Many Minorcans were also killed when taking part in a failed invasion of Majorca. Also some Majorcans and a priest were executed in Menorca during Pedro Marco Copyrights Barber era. After the nationalist victory in the Battle of Menorca in February 1939, the British Navy assisted in a peaceful transfer of power in Menorca and the evacuation of some political refugees aboard HMS Devonshire. In October 1993, Menorca was designated by UNESCO as a biosphere reserve. In July 2005, the island's application to become the 25th member of the International Island Games Association was approved. Climate, culture. The location of Menorca in the middle of the Western Mediterranean was a staging point for the different cultures since prehistoric times. This Balearic island has a mix of colonial and local architecture. The fiestas take place throughout the summer in different towns around the island, and have their origins in the early 14th century. The International Opera Week and International Organ Festival in Maryland, the Summer Music Festival and Cappella Davidica concerts in Ciutadella are the main events of the island. Minor Euro unregistered trademark S cuisine is dominated by the Mediterranean diet, which is known to be very healthy. Whilst many of the locals have adopted modern attitudes, they still uphold certain old traditions. Traditional celebrations. Menorca is especially well known for its traditional summer fiestas, which intrigue many visitors. The Fests de Sant Joan is held annually in Ciutadella, during 23 June 25. The fests lasts for 3 days. On the first day, a man bears a well-groomed sheep upon his shoulders and parades around the local streets. In the late evening, main streets are closed and bonfires held upon them. On the second day, locally bred black horses are the star of the show, dressed up for the occasion with ribbons and rosettes. The riders, or caixers, ride the horses through the streets and encourage them, along with a tumultuous crowd of people, to rear up on their hind legs. The brave can be found running underneath them as they do so. The third day sees intense competition between the riders in a harmless form of jousting that involves spearing a suspended ring with a lance at considerable speed. The fests is brought to a close with a firework display. Language. The two official languages are Catalan and Spanish. Natives to the island speak the variety of Catalan called Menorca, and they typically speak Spanish fluently as a second language. Many immigrants are monolingual in Spanish. Between Menorca and Standard Catalan proper, As with most Balearic dialects, the most distinctive difference is the different word used for the article the, where Menorca uses is for masculine and za for feminine. Menorca thus shares the source of its article with many Sardinian varieties, rather than the standard Catalan l and la, common to other Romance languages, corresponding to a form which was historically used along the Costa Brava of Catalonia, from where it is supposed that the islands were repopulated after being conquered from the Moors. Menorca also has a few English loanwords dating back to the British occupation such as gravy, zamaker, boinder, and xoc taken from gravy, shoemaker, bow window, and chalk, respectively. Food and drink. Wine production has been known on the island since ancient times, but it went into a heavy decline over the last century. Now, several new, small wineries have started up, producing wines locally. Lingering British influence is seen in the Minorcan's taste for gin, which during local fests honouring town's patron saints is mixed with bitter lemon to make a golden liquid known as a pomada. Also famous is Mahar cubed end cheese, a cheese typical of the island. It is thought that mayonnaise was brought back to France from Maine, Menorca, after Louis Frene's section y Armand du Plessis de Richelieu's victory over the British at the city's port in 1756. Sweets known as flaunes are one of the typical gastronomic products of Menorca. Wildlife, flowers. Menorca is rich in wildflowers with over 900 species of flowering plants recorded. Many are those typical of the Mediterranean, but some are endemic. There are 24 or 25 species of orchid found, and of these most flower early in the year in late March, April and May. Insects. 30 species of butterflies have been recorded on Menorca, and most are on the wing from March to late September. The species that occur include the Cleopatra, Lang's short-tailed blue and the two-tailed pasha. Despite not having many large wetlands, dragonflies abound on Menorca. 17 species have been recorded, including the emperor dragonfly, list of butterflies of Menorca, list of dragonflies of Menorca, reptiles and amphibians. Menorca does not have many species of reptiles or amphibians. There are 3 species of amphibia: green toad, marsh frog and stripeless tree frog. The common lizard seen all over the island is the Italian wall lizard, although the Moroccan rock lizard also occurs. The Balearic endemic Lilford's wall lizard can be found on many of the offshore islands. 2 species of gecko can be found on Menorca, the Moorish and the Turkish, also called the Mediterranean house gecko. 4 species of snake occur, the viperine snake, grass snake, false smooth snake and the ladder snake. Hermann's tortoise is quite common and can be found all over the island. 2 terrapin species are also found, the native European pond terrapin and the introduced American red-eared slider. Birds. The bird life of Menorca is very well known. Menorca is a well-watched island which is on the migration route of many species, and good number of passage migrants can be seen in spring. Residents include Audin's gull, blue rock thrush and clark. Booted eagle and red kite are easy to see, as is Egyptian vulture in the right habitat. In summer you get bee-eaters, and Menorca has major colonies of Cory's shearwater and Balearic shearwater. Mammals. Menorca does not have any large mammals native to its environment. There are some small mammals including rabbits, rats, mice, pine marten and the North African subspecies of hedgehog. Municipalities. The major towns are Port Mahon and Ciutadella de Menorca. The island is administratively divided into 8 municipalities. Ciutadella de Menorca, the ancient capital of Menorca until 1722, Ferreries, is Mercadal, Virtual Tour through is Mercadal, Fornells, which belongs to the municipality of is Mercadal. Famous for its lobster stew. Virtual Tour through Fornells. Is Migjorn Gran, hometown of Joan Ryu Davids. Alea, Cala en Porta, a tourist and residential area. Port Mahon became the capital in 1722 during the British domination, thanks to its strategic natural harbour. Lumarsanes, a small hamlet which belongs to the municipality of Morecubed. Saint Clement, which belongs to the municipality of Morecubed. Is Castle, founded by the British and originally named as Georgetown. Saint Louis, founded by the French and originally named St. Louis. The areas and populations of the municipalities are: Gallery. See also, Menorca Airport, Gymnasian Islands, Isla del Air, List of butterflies of Menorca, List of dragonflies of Menorca, Məʻnɔrkə, Roman Catholic Diocese of Menorca, Menorca Sun, references. Further reading: Burns, Robert I., Muslims in the 13th Century Realms of Aragon, Interaction and Reaction, PA 67, in, Powell, J. M. Muslims under Latin Rule, 1100 a Euro 1300, PA 57 a Euro 102, Princeton University Press. ISBN 0-691-05586-6. Hurl, G. A Birdwatcher's Guide to Menorca, Ibiza and Formentera. Alequin Press pp 56. ISBN 1-900159-20-1, Pons, G. Les Papillons d'Aerns de les Balears, pp 87. Editions Documenta Balear, Palma de Mallorca. Carlo Ginzburg, The Conversion of the Jews of Menorca, in Idum, Threads and Traces, True False Fictive, Taylor, David Wilson. Menorca. ISBN 0-71536787-0 ASBN 0-8117-1032 July 1 Full account of Menorca in English since John Armstrong's Memoirs of 1740. External links: Facebook page, Fests de Menorca 2012, UNESCO's Menorca Biosphere Reserve, Vinologue Menorca, Menorca Long Beach Island, NJ, Sister Islands.